Alright, so what's up YouTube? Welcome back to Jordan's Guitar channel. Start out apologizing for the audio. My lavalier mic is going in and out, so I'm having to use a room mic. Because stuff keeps breaking. But that's going to lead me into the video. So I got to come clean, man. I actually had 3 Fireball 100s on the channel. Didn't talk about it. Now the reason I didn't talk about it is because I didn't have any answers. I just had Fireball 100s that were just breaking on me. And nobody knew. Nobody knew what was going on. And I reached out to Engl. Engl responded to me and let me know what's happening. So now I can finally make this video. Now I did shoot footage of 2 of the amps. But I mean, to be honest, the footage is just like, well, my amp's broken. I can't tell you what happened to it. It's just not working. It's doing this weird thing, but you know, so I mean, I tried to edit together all this stuff. It came out this really long video with this crap footage. And my editing skills are basic, bro. Just very basic. So let me cough because Texas allergies. Testing 1, 2, we're good. Alright, so before I get any further, I'm not bashing Engl, I'm not bashing Sweetwater where I got the amps from, because like I said, the problems are so strange that nobody could have known, right? In fact, Engl didn't find out what happened until just recently. We're gonna get into all of that. So I figured the best way to do this video is just to tell you what happened with each amp, read you Engl's response, and then dive in a little deep into some research that I did while I've been away, right? So let's get into it. I'm doing this video for documentation purposes because what happened is so strange, and also there's a resolution to help others who may have had this issue or to prevent them from having this issue. So let me jump into it. So I got my first Engl Fireball 100 the end of August, beginning of September 2023. Fantastic amp. You guys have seen it here on the channel. And yeah, like a great amp. Well, a week shy of 3 months of playing it, I was in here jamming one day and I heard this loud pop and this loud squeal, like a hunted pig type of deal. It really scared the crap out of me. So I looked up, and if you guys aren't familiar with the Engl Fireball 100, there's 4 indicator lights for each one of the 4 606 power tubes. And if something's wrong with the tube, one of those lights will light up and let you know which tube's out. So I looked up and the V1 light was on, indicating the 606 in the first position was out, and sure enough, it was black. It had completely blown, along with that schooling thing. So I reached out to Sweetwater, let them know what happened. They were just gonna send me a tube. I said, would you guys reach out to Engl? Because I've blown a tube before and it's never squealed like that. And so they did, and thankfully they did. It also blew a fuse as well. So I couldn't really see any reason to make a video because they sent me out a brand new amp like next day air. Cool, man, right? Handled professionally. So that was the second one. The internet sleuths out there, if you want to go back a few, I don't know, 7, 8 videos, you can see that the second Engl has a little white splotch right here on the Tolex. I don't know, it was just like that. So played that amp, shot videos with it, recorded with it, everything. And I was in here, camera on, lights on, getting ready to shoot a video, and I was chugging. And I was, you know, messing with the sound or the volume, trying to get the level straight, and the volume just like cut in half. And I said, okay, well that's weird. So I look at the amp and the V1 power tube lights on. So I'm thinking, okay, well this one blew a 606 in the first position, but no. So I look in the amp, all 4 power tubes are still going bright red. I said, okay, well this is strange. So I hit record on the camera and I'm doing my whole YouTube thing and I'm trying to document, like, you know, showing you inside the amp and showing you this stuff and talking about things. And that was really quick video because the amp started crackling and popping and you could actually feel heat emanating from the amp. I said something's bad wrong, so I put the amp on standby. I called Sweetwater, and by the time I got them on the phone, it was really quick. They want me to troubleshoot the amp, and I got up next to it, and the knobs on the amp were actually hot. And so I said, hey man, this amp's about to blow up, dude. It's crackling and popping. Like, it was like opening an oven door. It was absolutely ridiculous. So I turned the amp off and unplugged it, went back an hour later. The amp was still like hot to the touch. Very confused, no answers for anything. Excuse me, apologize guys. Allergies are really bad in Texas. So they said, what do you want to do? And complete honesty, I didn't want a third one because I had no answers as to what happened. And at this point, my gut instinct is telling me that Sweetwater has a bad batch of these amps. And I've been down this quality control road where I've just gotten piece of gear after piece of gear after piece of gear and had the same issue. So I didn't want to go down that road, obviously. But they said, look, man, this Engl, it's like it's a fluke, right? So they said, let us just send you a third one. That's the easiest thing to do. And I said, okay, on one condition. I said, if this third one, because like I said, I just kind of knew, call it intuition, whatever you want, that there was going to be a problem. I said, if the third one has an issue, I have to move on, dude. I've got work to do. I record music out here. I'm doing the whole YouTube thing. And I know it's going to mess me up, dude. It's going to set me back quite a bit. So they said, yeah, that's cool. So I got the third amp, had it for less than 2 months, and came in here. I had everything hooked up to this Mesa head track, amp and effects loop switcher, same cable, same everything. And I was jamming on the EVH. I was getting ready to do a shootout between the EVH and the Engl, which I'm sad I never got to make that video. But I was jamming through the EVH, getting it all set, and then I switched over to the Engl, getting ready to set it up, and there was no sound coming through. So I didn't figure anything had moved because I had everything set up on this rack, nice and neat, and checked all the connections just to make sure. No sound, switched back to the EVH, everything was working fine. So I said, okay, something's wrong. And there was no power tube indicator lights on, all the power tubes were glowing. And so I reached out to Sweetwater, we did all the tests and stuff, and I had the amp just plugged straight into my Friedman cab, and the guitar plugged straight into the amp itself. And no sound, ran through the return to the amp and got sound for a minute, and then it like faded out. So the amp was just dead. Complete mystery, no answers yet again. So I had to be done. As you can see, I don't have another fancy tube head here on the channel. So I reached out to Engl, not knowing it was gonna take a while for them to get back to me, which they did, and they offered a resolution, and I'm about to get into it. So I took some time off. I needed a break, right? Like, I've been pumping these videos out for free for almost 2 years. And I needed a break, dude. I mean, just plain and simple. And I needed to figure out what the hell was going on. Because I've had more than my fair share of quality control issues on the channel. So I figured out some stuff, but I'm gonna read you Engl's response to this whole thing and let you guys know what's up with everything. And I'll pop it up on screen, that way you guys can screenshot it or whatever you need to do. So this is, hi Jordan, thanks for reaching out to us. We had to deal with a batch of crappy 6L6 tubes from September to January. Unfortunately, we only discovered this based on the statistics at the beginning of the year. The tubes are 6L6 tubes with the batch numbers T033 and T034. We will replace faulty tubes out of this batch free of charge. As a manufacturer of tube amplifiers, we are unfortunately dependent on a few tube manufacturing companies worldwide and can unfortunately have little influence on the quality of the tubes. I am truly sorry you had a bad start with the Engl brand. Kind regards, Martin. So kind of pop that on screen real quick. You guys can see that, do whatever you need to do to get those batch numbers. So I'm not recommending you do this. I'm not recommending you open up your amp or anything like that. I'm saying that if it were me, if I had one of these amps from around that time period, I would be checking those tubes. If you decide to do that and you're not comfortable, absolutely take your stuff to an amp tech who knows what they're doing, and check those batch numbers. And Engl, you know, when I sent them the email, I let them know, like, hey, I'm gonna make a YouTube video because this situation is so strange, it needs to be documented. They gave me answers and a resolution. So, like, they knew this was happening, and I'm very grateful for them. And shout out to Engl, dude, for getting in front of this issue and providing a resolution like that. So, I mean, you have to respect a company like that. You have to respect Sweetwater, the way they handle the thing. Because, like, they had no service logs of any of this stuff. I did share this information with Sweetwater. So, if you've been having problems with your Engl amp, dude, you know, you guys know what to do. So what Engl's talking about, man, there's only 3 tube manufacturers in the entire world. There's one in Russia, which a lot of countries aren't getting tubes from because of sanctions, because of world events. The one in China, which burned down 2 years ago, which caused the great tube shortage. As I understand it, they're kind of getting back up on their feet still. And the third one's in Slovakia, which is the smallest of all of them, and has pretty much been doing the brunt of tube manufacturing. So if you guys are wondering, well, I ordered this amp and it's taken forever, every time I go to look for this amp it's out of stock, that's why. Plus we have the supply chain issue that's been going on for 4 years. We all know what caused that. I'm not going to get into it, but you know, I touched on this briefly when I did the video of the Mesa head track, because there's a foot switch, and it's just a 1-button foot switch for this amp, or for this pedal. And the guy at Mesa was just telling me, he said, man, parts are just so scarce and so hard to come by. We can't even produce that. So, and like I said, I mean, how could Engl have known? Man, each one of these 3 amps, dude, I played, let's say, an average of 2 hours a day, right? We'll just call it that. So I mean, you do that for 3 months. I mean, that's well over 100 hours. And even the third one that I had for 2 months, I mean, that's like 90 hours or something like that. My math's terrible, but yeah, dude. So there was no like overheating of the amp. There was no indication that anything was wrong with these amps. And come to find out, a huge batch, I mean, from September of 2023 to January 2024, with a major company like Engl, man, there's no telling how many amps went out with those tubes, man. And that's a lot of tubes, brother. That's a lot of tubes. So I can't think of a way that you could have tested these things to know that there would be any issue with it. So I wouldn't hesitate to buy another Engl, man. The way they handled that situation, to me, is top tier, and you gotta have respect for that, dude. Same thing with Sweetwater. So and none of this is sponsored, dude. I do all this for free, but I figured, you know, this was an important video to put out, and hopefully it helps some people, helps you understand what's going on. Like, if you're looking for a Mesa Boogie, like, I did some research and found out that Mesa Boogie is literally sending 1 amp at a time because parts are just scarce. It's just the way it is. So we're just gonna have to hang tight. I know the guitar industry is weird right now, guys, but you know, be patient, play the gear you got, and you know, things are gonna get better, man. They always do. Like, comment, subscribe. I try to get back to every single one of the comments. I do get some weird ones that sometimes I don't know what to tell you guys. But if you're not subscribed, bro, what are you doing? It's free. Just hit that button. Come help me grow this thing, dude. We're growing so close to 1,000 subscribers. And I'm so grateful to each and every one of you who's helped me to grow this thing. And as always, guys, much metal, much love, and much peace. Later, y'all.